Well, hello everybody. It's wonderful to see so many people here. This is the 17th of February 2013, and we're in a POC support meeting where the main topic today is going to be about the restructuring process.
Your channel started recording.
We would like Philip to have a quick word first. He said he had some updates for us. So Philip, if you'd like to go first, please. Philip, are you there? Somebody kidnapped Philip. Philip, come back. Okay, well, Nate said something about the Facebook. Maybe Nate would like to fill us in sort of like briefly.
Hi, everyone. All right. What I'm currently doing with the Facebook TVP activism groups that I've created for all the POCs is what I'm doing is I'm actually getting rid of all the groups that are not active and that have not been active, and some of them actually don't have a POC anymore, so I'll be cleaning up those groups on Facebook. And so more than likely, if you are using your Facebook TVP activism group, more than likely it will still be there because you're using it, and that's the whole purpose of having the group. So just want to let everyone know that I'll be cleaning up those groups, and then as we in the future, if we plan on having POCs and someone has a POC in an area, then I can create a group for them and help them out with that process.
Thank you, Nate. Philip, are you back yet?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Please go ahead and let us know what you were going to say about the updates that you had for us.
Well, mine is more towards the well, what you call it, the course. So yeah, I wouldn't mind even Rox actually having here, but yeah, if you want me to go on now, I'm fine.
Well, we can also do other stuff first, and if Roxanne joins us later, you can we can save what you have to say when she comes on.
Well, again, you know, I don't know what you guys have about the POC. So you know, if you want her there too, you know, I'm not particularly keen on having her. Meaning, like, you know, I really want her there. You know, I'm fine with her being on and off. If you guys, so you know, just to use the time. If you want her on the POC stuff, then I'll go first. If you don't mind, then you guys go first.
Well, we can actually start with the POC survey that's been sent out, because well, actually we as far as the POC survey, we only have one question for Roxanne, so we can Vixie, we can start with other stuff first, okay?
Okay, all right. Actually, Philip, it's really good that you're here because it'd be nice if there's any mistakes made and you can correct us. First of all, well, before everything, I want to say really a big thank you to everybody for coming in, and I hope that we're going to see more and more people as time goes on. Now then, most of you have had, well, all of you will have had the email explaining that the emails are going to be closed down at the end of March, but I don't know how many of you know that there is going to be a dissolving of the POC structure as it is now. So as Philip is here, maybe you could explain better, Philip, what the plan is, how things would be structured now. Would it be possible to do that in like a very short space of time?
Yeah, about 10 minutes would be my let's say best performance.
Okay, we'll hold you to that then, huh? 10 minutes. You've got 10 minutes sunshine.
Wicked. All right. The whole idea is the following. The POC structuring, or let's say the POC restructuring, you know, brief introduction, about 2 minutes of why, and the rest 8 would be on the new process. We have seen so far that the POC as described in the user manual have not really been, let's say, active in this direction. And the reason for that is, well, there are several reasons for that, but we can't really count them in. We can't really say, okay, there's a reason for this, there's a reason for that. We are all volunteers, so it's much better actually to go on a let's say intention / motivation / inspiration principle, and that's where let's say the new solution comes in. So far, what we have as activity and as support. So we have a server which is paid, which basically handles all the emails. At the moment, there's about $117 per month being paid from Jack and Roxanne. In time, we don't really know how much that's going to rise, because if we're having literally a POC in every town, or a number of POCs in every town, then the whole management of this requires, let's say, a much larger administrative stuff. I'm talking about high level of experience in database, in server, and that kind of stuff. In time, most probably we will have our own server, meaning that we'll have our own email, irrespective of whether we'll be at TVP Activism or at the Venus Project or at whatever it is. So we might actually want to pick this up again, in the further future. But at the moment, what we felt so far is that we're kind of like, restricting people depending on their role. So for example, if you're a POC, if somebody is a POC, I would basically knock on their door as soon as they go through the process, and the process is simply to send them an email saying, I want to be a POC. We send them an email back saying, well, are you sure? All right, and choose teams and etc. and fill out the survey. And then they would reply back, and I would get in contact with them, or ad admins would get in contact with them, and basically go through the process and say, all right, so this is the Venus Project, etc., etc., etc. This is how things are done. So let's see if you can follow this, right? Obviously, the major thing is education, getting yourself involved in projects as much as you can, etc. But we haven't really seen this. So for let's say the Venus Project, or for actually all of us, we thought it would be better if we actually do an open structure. And the open structure is very simple. The POCs at the moment so far, they have had some kind of official status, or if it's a point of contact of an activist organization that is behind the actual organization, meaning a point of contact for Bulgaria, that's me, and I'm part of TVP Activism, which is a volunteer organization which stands behind the Venus Project, which is the mother organization, the main organization. Basically it's not really a problem, the officiality, but the major aspect is that we don't really know actually what these POCs or these people are doing in their local communities. I'm even including myself, because not many of you guys who are here actually know what I'm doing. Very few people know what I'm doing. Whether it's bad or good, again, we can't really decide. Because we're not really fit to, we're not really educated enough to actually decide all this. So we thought, why can't we actually do it in an open structure? And the open structure is very simple. There's literally 3 levels, or let's say 3 tiers, which is a supporter, volunteer, and an educator or a mentor, or, at the moment the terms are really, kind of like thought about. So the first level is a supporter. A supporter is pretty much anybody who has any kind of activity. The word clicktivism comes to mind. It's a new term. It's basically activism through clicking on Facebook and stuff like that. For me, it's a bit funny, but again, social networks are quite popular nowadays, so maybe it'll work out. Pretty much anything that is not not considered active involvement in official projects. The second tier is volunteers, and volunteers are actually, working actively in official projects. Now, there's something that I said that is kind of like in a high abstract level, and that is official projects. What is an official project? An official project is a project which the Venus Project wants to be done, meaning, for example, marketing or writing or TVP Magazine or Corson or Alice, things that you might have heard in the past. So when there is an official project, certain person would say, okay, I want to be a part of this project. If there's nobody, no coordinate for this project, this person has to raise this his or her hand up and say, I want to be a coordinator for the project. That's cool. The only thing which you must do is basically send your CV in addition to a development plan for that particular project. And what happens is this development plan doesn't really get screened in the sense of content. It gets screened on the sense of minimal level of presentation. So, you know, we wouldn't accept anybody putting their hand up and saying, I want to run the writing process by, the writing project by sending us an application with their CV, 5 sentences in an email. You know, they have to actually develop the project. They have to show it to us in, you know, up to a half an hour, either video presentation or, you know, PowerPoint presentation or anything else like that. And that's because it's an official project, because we want a high level of quality. We want professionalism. Then there is unofficial projects. And what are unofficial projects? Well, unofficial projects are pretty much any project that anybody wants to do. As soon as the email comes for an official project, okay, and we screen it, meaning like, you know, okay, there's something very very important, or actually, yeah, I saw that, right, Dennis. Do I have to bring her in here or what?
Yes, please.
Hi, Rox.
Hello, Roxanne.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, thanks very much for coming, Roxanne. Just to get you up to date where we are, Philip is in the process of explaining the new idea that they have, the new proposal that there is for the restructuring. And once he's finished, then we're going to go through the results that we got from the form that was sent out this week to the POCs. I think it is about halfway through now. But before we speak about the process of the results of the forms, we'd like you, we have a question for you, and that's all we really need you for. We don't want to take any more of your time up unless you want to stay. Is that okay?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, carry on, Philip, if you don't mind, because I think you're about finished now, aren't you?
Yeah, almost. Yes, all right. I was at the official projects and unofficial projects. So official projects, people send emails with, you know, their development plan. We kind of screen it for basic content. So, you know, if we see that the person is literally has put down 2 slides and has made, you know, very, very few comments, we would send them back and say, okay, you know, would you please give more information? So once this development of official project is proposed, is sent an email to admin of the Venus project, we say, okay, now it's ready to be forwarded to the Venus project, to Rox and Jacques. So, you know, we forward that email saying, you know, Rox, do you think this person is actually applicable enough? Do you think it's good enough? You know, she says, well, you know, the presentation looks good, or, you know, I don't think actually looks that good. We want it at a more higher professional level. You know, this communication gives a result, and the result is we either say, okay, we accept the project, we accept the person, we say, okay, you can run this particular project, or we say, well, you know, learn more, you know, get involved with us, or talk to me, talk to Sean, talk to anybody of the admins, talk to anybody of the people who have stayed there for a long time, and basically, you know, try to develop it further until it's the good enough levels for it to be for you to be the project coordinator. Unofficial projects. Unofficial projects are basically by people all over the globe, and they do their own project. And again, I'll use Jeff as an example because it's a very good example. Like, for example, a person would knock on the door and say, guys, I want to create a website where all the answers of Q&A, etc., 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 all put together. This person does a let's say preliminary proposal, which is obviously in the same way as a project application would be. Send us detailed information of how it's going to be done, etc. And we say, oh, actually, that's very good. That's, you know, that's something that we do want to include in. So what happens is this unofficial project becomes official project through this process. Basically, you know, they send us an email with detailed explanation. We send it to Rox. Rox says, yeah, actually, that's a very good project. Guys, would you, do you have the resources to develop that? We say yes or no, or we'll find the resources, etc. And that person is already in charge of, he's a project coordinator of that unofficial project, which by this process has become official. key element here. And obviously it's put on the website and etc. etc. The tools that will be used, for official projects is mainly the website. For unofficial projects will be the module that we know so far as tvpactivism.com. The actual website will be taken off, but the module will be incorporated into TVP's main website. So everything is actually in one. And there will be, a lot of different kinds of groups and discussions and functionalities and etc. in order for those unofficial projects to become to be developed enough in order for them to be presented. And at the third level, which is mentor or educator, whatever it has to be called, that is a person which actually takes all the information and basically says the following. Right, I see that right now the Venus project needs education, as well as additional other resources. But I take myself, for example, I'm a useless economist. I don't really know much about, web programming or architecture or, materials or science or anything else like this. So I'm like, okay, what kind of materials are out there? I buy the library set. I make references to this information that Jack talks about. And I developed a whole educational course, which is, I'm talking about a thorough educational course with respect to sustainability, with respect to the aims and proposals of the Venus project, etc., etc. Now, this educational course, again, I'm presenting it as a plan for development. And, again, if Rock says, yeah, actually, that's good, let's do it, then this is a go, this is a green light. This person develops the whole course, then presents it to us as a complete scenario, and then we say that's perfect. So let's see how the first year goes. And this person actually takes on this course as a professional event, as a professional practice, and starts educating people, starts calling more and more people, etc., expanding their region. At that stage, at a certain stage, whenever this person shows clear understanding of the aims and proposals and the whole information of the Venus project, then we can actually move on to let's say a POC status and etc. But at the moment we don't want to have any official POC statuses because of the reasons which I said. People don't deserve it. I don't deserve my official POC status. I don't deserve an email. I don't use it. I don't want one. Simply because I think that people should be at a higher level of understanding and activity before this is done. Of course, there is additional factors. I'm running 1 minute over. The additional factor is that when this person or when a person actually knows a lot about the Venus project and is promoting this idea, the representative role. It kind of like he or she receives it automatically in a sense. So if you're promoting the Venus project, the integrity of this information, you're kind of like an official representative. Now, whether these will be official representatives or not, I mean officially by the Venus project saying these are our representatives, that will be most probably a second, that will come in the future. We're not really thinking about that. If we had 50 or 100 people that have already done that in the world, then we would consider how the process will go about for them to become official, or if there's going to be any officiality at all. But at the moment, we're more concentrating on the supporters and volunteers, and of course, having kind of like a career path towards people who want to take this on a further level. Again, open to a lot of questions. I'm sure there will be. But I don't think I have more important stuff to say. So thanks for the time, and I'm open to questions.
Thank you very much, Philip. Does anybody have anything they'd like to ask on that, or can we pass on to Roxanne?
I'll have to get caught up with certain things later, Philip, with you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Roxanne. Basically, the question that we had for you was about the email. Shasho, you have a question in particular.
Yeah. Basically what the question is regarding the emails, and if we're gonna actually take them away, and why. So I wanted to ask first if it is your opinion that these emails might be in the hands of somebody that's going to misrepresent the Venus Project, or in any form, like Philip mentioned. Do you think that these emails should be taken away, or do you think that the active POCs that have been here for a long while, and let me say that there is I think around 30 POCs that have answered our survey that we send out in less than 2 days. Do you think that these people should still hold on to their email if they want to use it, and if they actually do use it?
I wasn't the one that was setting up the new structure. Andrew was really experimenting with this, and he was really the one who set up the original structure. I'd have to talk to him in regards to his reasoning for the emails. I haven't as yet. I know there was a cost with it too that was a problem. As we built up, it really got costly. So, and then, you know, if some people have it and some people don't, as we go along, if we're setting up a new structure where we're not giving it out initially to everyone, then that might be a problem as well. I know sometimes you might need it, or certain people might need it if they're presenting, you know, to certain groups of people. They might need to look like they represent the Venus Project more so. That we've done when certain people wanted to address governmental officials. So, you know, in different countries, they needed to look more like they're part of, like they're really representing the Venus Project or with the Venus Project. But I would have to get caught up in that area unless you have more information on that, Philip, in regards to the emails.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was kind of like my initiation from the beginning. I mean, you know, I spoke to Andrew, and he kind of like said, yeah, of course, you know, I mean, if it isn't working, it isn't. Again, you know, the costing issue is one of the parts. Let's say the most difficult part is not really the cost. You know, I've said it many times. Is actually the administration of it. So if somebody is, you know, a mail server or Exchange server admin here and would like to take this on permanently, I have no problem with that. You know, soon we'll actually move over to a platform where, you know, we would have our own email server. So actually, we don't need to pay to GoDaddy, and we can move over to that. But again, you know, this is not going to happen with anybody of the current admin. So Andros and Andrew and Sven are not going to do it. You know, they've officially said that. So you know, if anybody else wants to take this on, yes, it's not a problem. And again, you know, how the process of people basically saying like, you know, how do people become POCs? Because again, the process of becoming POCs at the moment isn't really working. Why? Well, because, you know, we have Russian guys who don't really know English, but they aced the questionnaire which was sent out. So, you know, if anybody says like, okay, here's a process of POC and I'm about to take it on, and there's another person or the same person with a lot of experience in Exchange. Exchange, what I mean is Microsoft Exchange or email configurations and stuff like that. It's not a problem. They can take this on. But at the moment, we don't have the staff to actually do it. And again, at the same time, you know, we're giving out emails through a function, or let's say through a process in which you know, people can't really be proved in that kind of sense. So again, you know, those are the two main reasons why we're taking this off. And in order to explain even further, we are actually, we do already have, and I've spoken to many people. I've spoken to Dennis, I've spoken to Jeff, I've spoken to Federico, I've spoken to Igor, etc. And I've explained to them that there is a backup solution with respect to the emails, meaning that, like, for example, Dennis has 20,000 brochures or posters or banners, etc., with TVP activism email. Now, if we shut this off, obviously, he needs to reprint that, or it'll be additional cost to him. So we've actually, managed to relay all the information, all the emails, to a single email to a single mailbox in the ticketing system that we are having now, and automatically this tickets would be sent to these POCs, to the current POCs, let's say, like, for example, like Dennis, for example, so that's the key element here. We have a backup, and I've already explained it, okay? But the reason why we're taking that off is because we cannot, soon there'll be no POCs made because we cannot handle the workload.
Okay, I'm gonna try and address some of the concerns that have gone through either personal correspondence or within this survey. First of all, I'm gonna agree with you, Philip, because especially on the part of the new POCs, the way that the POC emails have been basically put out right now is definitely not good. And even with the survey, it's still not good, just like you said. And basically, if how I got it a year and a half ago was definitely not good, and that needs to be addressed, definitely. But right now, I think what we should be focusing on is the ones that are already out and are already being used. So the couple of concerns that have been, and basically one of them already was acknowledged by Roxanne, is the fact that people are representing their efforts, their projects with this email, and therefore it makes it look more professional, it makes it look more efficient, official, sorry. So it gives you, as somebody who would either want resources or financial help from an institution or a government, it makes you look legit, just so to say. And that's basically one of the concerns. The other concern is the fact that the people that are here, that are answering questions, that are doing the work that can be seen everywhere, and they have some projects to show for it, would definitely like to hold on to this email. For the most part, that's at least what in the survey has showed. That I think there was only one who said that no, that he would like to get rid of the email. And basically the other thing that's here is the financial cost of it, and I don't know how the financial cost of it is charged. Is it per email, or is it a flat rate for all the however much emails that we have? I'm not sure about that. Maybe Roxanne can tell us. But I think that with 30 people in the active POC group right now, if there's only 30 of us, can still divide that up if there are people who really want to hold on to this. And even if it's I don't know, 200 euros a year, it's still gonna be less than 10 euros per person to hold on to these emails. So basically, what the bottom line question first is that if it's okay for these emails to be left to the POCs to work with them, and the second, if it's the financial problem, then we can try to address this amongst ourselves if the POCs are willing to chip in, I don't know, 10 euros a year to hold on to the email.
Actually, if I may interrupt there, Rolando has just put in the chat that TDP Portugal, Futuragora, has a professional dedicated server which could create the email accounts for free if they needed.
Is he also willing to take on the entire administration?
Rolando, can you speak to that?
Well, I'm willing to pay, but who is going to take over that control? I don't know. But not just me. A couple of us, we are willing to pay for those emails. It is not a problem, but someone will have to manage that.
That's the question for Rolando. He's offered the free server, but can he do the work that's necessary with it, or would he have somebody that would be able to do the work for it?
I'm just curious about the what kind of administration we're talking about here, because we already, I don't know, like if we don't use the current email system and go back to our personal emails, what will happen then? I'm kind of confused right now here.
Okay, so let Rolando answer the first question. Rolando, yeah, the question was basically, would you administer all the creation of the mailboxes, basically?
The correction?
The creation of mailboxes, so mail server administration. This is what we need.
Yes.
And
yes. Yes, I told Roxanne in the previous email we sent, and here Portugal, we have like a crew of dedicated host masters. We have a dedicated server, so if the Venus project or any of you needed hosting, emails, administration, something like that, we could have it. And as you're saying it, we could stay with the administration about the accounts.
Okay, that's cool. That's perfect. All right. The next step. What is the POC process?
What is what? I don't understand.
I'm sorry, Rolando. You I didn't make that clear. I don't have any more questions towards you at all. Since there is a dedicated team for server administration, for email administration, I have no problem with that. Basically, this question was more towards everybody else. So what is the POC process? So basically, how, because, in order for Orlando to actually take this on, it's very easy. If they have a server administration team, then the only thing which needs to be done is somebody needs to send that team an email saying, can you please create the following box, and can you, send the details to such and such person. So, until this is getting done, what is the POC process? Because what I'm trying to get here is that if we keep the emails, but the POC process is still the same, we're not really doing anything new.
Okay, well, this is one of the things that we want to talk about with the restructuring question. But for the rest of the meeting for today, which we're kind of running out of time, we had a list of questions that we needed to go through before we can get to that actual putting down ideas in concrete for the restructuring. So the first question of all was the email question, which I think we've cleared up. If Rolando has one.
I don't think so. Well, Jeff had a question. Jeff was like, I don't know what happens with the POCs and with the emails. Is that right?
No, actually, okay, when we talk about the administration, okay, that's different than the setup, okay. We just, I believe, mentioned, okay, just the setup of the emails for the new server. That's different. But if you're talking about the administration, it means the ongoing process, okay. So I didn't quite understand what kind of administration we talk about here.
No, the server administration, okay, the general idea is the following. You can't really have an email server without the setup. So we're not really worrying about the setup simply because, you know, it's basically like, you know, you can't really have the house without the bricks and the roof, or, you know, the extrusion, depending on where. But afterwards, the maintenance, okay, the setup is not really important at the moment because it's already been done, you know. But the maintenance of it, meaning every single time creating a new email, sending an email to that person, when that person loses the, you know, the password, which has happened many times, and etc., and kind of like, you know, send them a new password, etc., etc., etc. So all of this, well, this is the administration part. Did you understand now?
I thought
Yes.
that had been answered.
Oh, I would like just, if you allow me, guys, just to say, I don't think that the main problem ain't about the emails accounts, because you all guys know that we have thousands of emails archived, and the most problematic issue is about the following up of those emails. Meaning, for me, and I've heard about, and I've been trying to get the information you guys are saying out, it's about the follow-up of those emails. So I think the emails, it's just a part. The platform, or the way, the process, as you are saying, to be a POC, and the reports, it should have to be followed up. It's more important. If my English is good, and you guys understand.
Rolando, you're totally right, and that's where I wholeheartedly agree with Philip, and we will have to do it. We will have to come up with an actual with a better way of dealing out new TVP activism emails, but still, if so, Rolando has presented this option, and we can, with that, we can basically have these emails either reissued from their server, or however, whatever the easiest way to do it is. But I would still, is that okay? Is that okay for us to do it that way? So basically, that's the bottom line question that was also wanted to get an answer from Roxanne, if we can do this for free. So basically we can do this for free amongst the TVP activism groups. Is it okay if we have them and use them?
Are you talking about the people who already have them, you want to use them?
Yes.
Okay, and are you talking about, you know, we essentially were saying, as I understand, if I understand this better, Philip, because, you know, I know I wasn't involved in restructuring. It was Dennis and Philip and Sven, which is fine with me if they wanted to try something else. But in doing that, we were giving you all the ability to do whatever you want. And am I correct by hearing this, that you want to reestablish something like the POCs again, but amongst yourself, and handle it?
The question was towards Sasha, right?
Now, basically, we don't really know. Well, today, actually, what Philip just said before you and while you came in, Roxanne, is kind of the first time that we had somebody explain what the plan is. So basically, we couldn't really have any suggestions or alternative propositions. So I can't really speak about that. But just the fact that the POC emails that's the information that we did get, is that the POC emails are gonna be taken away. So if we can manage to get them with no cost, and with Rolando, taking care of the administration, if you are okay with us using it, because one of the issues was that it could be misrepresented. So like, you have the TVP activism in the email, and it could be misrepresented and just before you answer, I think that that these people that are here now and that have been basically the 30 something people that have answered all these questions and are basically continuously been here, I think they should be able to use these emails, and I don't agree with Philip on the count of what he said, that he didn't deserve the email that he got, and maybe not at the time that he got it, but I think that people that have worked have proven that they did earn that TVP activism email, and I think that they should hold on to it.
Am I to understand that basically what you guys are trying to do is save the emails no matter the cost?
We would like to keep some kind of a communication with the outside world that has the TVP name on it that gives us credibility. These are the ones that have been around for a time. When the new people come in, and we will look towards making a different method of bringing them in and making sure they're worthy, I can't think of it at the moment, for having a TVP activism email. But this is something that I think we have to speak about. Again, we can't just one meeting. So we have information now that we didn't have before. Rolando has made this wonderful offer for us to have for free. So with this, we can now look towards how we can restructure the bringing of new people in and making sure that they're up to date or up to scratch or whatever you want to say for getting an email. And really now, if it's not a problem, I would like to carry on with the other questions that we had go through, because the people are also waiting to know about things that happened with the form that they were wonderful enough to fill out.
I have no problem with that. That's cool. I mean, you know, again, I'm not really like kind of in charge of the whole thing. So, you know, if you guys want to do it, it's not really a problem.
Okay, thanks very much, David. All right, so the first two questions that we had on the list to comment with you guys have been touched upon. We've had the plan explained to us, what the current plan is for the restructuring. We'd like you to think about that, and through the week,
Sue, I'm sorry, Sue. There's a big misunderstanding here. I haven't really explained anything. The plan is not official. Roxanne has not seen the plan. This has got nothing to do with the restructuring. What I was explaining is actually the emails. You know.
Okay, all right. Well, I'd asked you to explain what the plan was, so you know that.
Well, Sue, all right. There's a big misunderstanding here. Again, I'm saying the plan is not official. The plan has not been taken on. The only thing that right now is being done is these emails are trying to be saved. And you know, on the basis of this discussion, I can't really agree that the information from the forum is somewhat accurate, because I saw the form just now. I didn't fill it in. I saw the form now. It's weird to me how people would be able to fill in a form wherein they are asked simple questions, but they wouldn't return an email when they are asked to provide additional email for forwarding, since their once is closing. So if you say 30 people are actually active, I would reduce that by half, simply because, you know, it's a bit weird, you know.
Well, that's because the other 15 or more people didn't really want to have their emails taken away, so maybe that's why they didn't reply.
Exactly, that's what I mean, you know. So, you know, I guess that these people want their emails just for officiality, which for me, you know, it's a completely wrong way to go. You know, that's the reason why we...
The result of the form is given that most people are using them a lot. As Shasha said before, there was just one person who wasn't bothered about losing his email. And I must add there as well that from the comments that he made on his replies, he is quite struggling with the role and possibly would need either a co-POC or maybe just to step down from the role. So I think that is affecting his decision there as well. Anyway.
I have spoken with that already, but again, you know, that's kind of like doing a... that sounds to me like a logical fallacy here. I'm sorry.
Okay. You know, excuse me a minute. How I kind of feel about this right now is that if there are people who are really active, we can't vouch for whether these other POCs have been really active in participating if we haven't seen them and they're not working with us, they don't answer emails. We would have to find out what they're doing and how they're using that email address. But I don't mind people keeping that email address. And I'm speaking without really speaking to, I don't know this new plan either. I'm speaking without discussing it with Philip or I've just spoken a little bit to Andrew about it. And if there's some reason that we shouldn't do it that way, if it doesn't work in comprehensively as a system, that however they're working it out, where it doesn't make sense, then maybe we'll change that. But for me right now, speaking, not knowing enough probably, that I think we should keep it with those who have really been active, and those who we do not see and are not active and aren't answering emails from Philip or from Sven or whoever's been trying to communicate with them, then they don't keep that email.
Definitely. I 100% wholeheartedly agree that everybody that doesn't answer in a week or 10 days max should basically have their email taken away. And
Sasha, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. You named one thing which is a little bit weird, okay? And that is, a week, 10 days max. I'm getting complaints from people because I'm the one person that answers pretty much all emails that come to admin at the Venus Project. I'm getting complaints that I'm not answering emails. My maximum amount of time is 5 days. On the 5th day, every single email is answered. I'm talking about maximum amount of time. So, I wouldn't say that a week or 10 days. At the beginning, in the survey that Sean did, there was a specific question there, and that is, can you answer emails within 3 days period? Okay, so, that's what I'm basing my statistics on, not on feelings.
I agree. That's why I'm saying that 10 days is the time when the account is taken away. So it should be, everybody should be answering these like at least in 3 days, like you said. But so if you don't answer in 10 days, that means you're not there, and the account is taken away.
Okay, so that's technically 85 people out of the 100 accounts that we have.
Yeah, if there's 20 active people or 15 active people, then we save those 15 active people and take away everybody else.
Well, out of those 15 active people, why did all of them actually send me an email saying, yeah, of course, forward this one? It was only Igor, Dennis, and Jeff, the people who actually got back to me saying, oh, I'm really worried about that. But again, I don't understand why there is such a resistance towards the solution that has already been presented with respect to the automatic forwarding of emails, that go to, let's say, Serbia@tvpactivism.com to a specific email given by that POC. That's a solution. We don't lose anything.
Well, that's a solution that I haven't been aware of. So, that's...
Sasha, can I ask you something? Did you receive my email about the POCs?
Yes, I did.
Did you answer?
No, I did not.
Right. Well, first thing would be for you to answer and ask me why you guys are doing this. I've been in contact with so many people. Like, for example, Sebastian from France. He asked me down Skype. He's like, Phil, I'm sorry, but I don't really understand this. Could you explain this to me? It took me a weekend. I explained that to him. He was all hugs and everything. So, I don't understand where the communication breaks, and somehow, kind of like this is taken on to a whole new level where, we have to keep this because, there is, let's say, a lot of people who said, no, I still want my email. Of course they're going to say they want the email. Think about this, guys,
Please, can I call attention to everybody? This was supposed to be... Oh, sorry about the dogs. Shut up. This was supposed to be 10 minutes. We're talking about the emails, and it's turned into almost a full hour. We have other questions that we need to talk about. All these other comments can be talked about later at a further date. If we don't carry on with the things that we have on the agenda, then we're going to have to call another meeting just for these other things. So please, there are certain questions about the emails that can be carried on at another moment. All right. There's very few things. I'd like to get through them as briefly as possible. Does everybody have my contact and Shasho contact for emails and for Skype chats? If there is anybody that doesn't, I'm going to put mine in the chat now. And Shasho, I'm going to ask him to do the same.
Do you prefer some other email other than, okay, so SueAndTheVenusProject.com, not Spain at tvpactivism.com.
Okay, all right. No, because I've got a file under this one now for these things, so I prefer to receive them on there. You can get my attention through an email to that address, and my Skype is VixieVP. There's Shasho's email, and I guess he's writing his Skype now. Excellent. Anybody that doesn't have us, please add us. Then we can get on a one-to-one basis with you if you have any questions, anything you'd like to follow up about the form or anything like that through the week. Okay. Now then, another question. Is everybody here in the Skype POC group and the Skype Facebook page? Because I'm feeling that there's people that aren't on the Skype chat and there's people that aren't on the Facebook page as well. So does anybody not have that? Okay. Then please, if you're missing either of those two contacts, please send either an email or a Skype to Shasho or myself so that we can get you into the Skype group and into the Facebook group as well. Okay, we'll need your Facebook nick so that then we're all together. All right, because I have a feeling that we're split in communication and this doesn't help. All right, and then we can carry on with messages on the Facebook page. We can carry on with the Skype chat as well. Now then, it's been mentioned, but I'd like to go over it again. One of the problems that we've had is of people disappearing, and this is obviously very serious because when we take on the role of point of contact for a country, for TVP, it's not a game. It's something that we take on. It's a responsibility. It's more than just being an activist or a supporter. We're there for other people as well. All right? They need us for organization. We're not their leaders. We're not their bosses. But they need somebody to help them keep organized, all right? And if we're not available to them, then the whole thing goes to pieces, all right? So it's been, yes, it makes bottlenecks, as Isiolos from Spain says. If it comes to that case and we haven't heard from you in a certain amount of time, which we can discuss how much time that can be, all right, would you all understand the fact that your email would be taken away from you and passed on to somebody else? Would anybody have any problem with that? I think it's quite logical. We need that communication. Okie dokie, lovely. Fantastic. And then, the meetings have been going on just once a week, but there's a lot of people that don't really have a lot to share at the moment, and coming along once a week can be quite a chore. We can understand that. We've seen on the forums that many, many people have difficulty with Sundays at this particular time. So what we're going to do is send out another email with something called a doodle. This is a collaborative calendar, all right? And you can vote for the time and the day that is best for you for these meetings. The amount of votes is counted up automatically by the doodle calendar, and we can see then which day and which time would be best for most people. We may have to do 2 meetings instead of 1 because there's always going to be people on the other side of the world that can't make the same time, all right? But we're thinking of reducing the meetings down to just once a month instead of once a week, okay? So I'd like you to think about this as well, if you wouldn't mind, and think about if it's going to be making it easier for you to get to the meetings and so on, especially taking into account that we would be more in contact through the Skype chat if you are joining us on the Skype, and also through the Facebook. We do need you to pay attention to those 2 things because we are passing information through there and we need to see people receiving that information. Okay?
I suggest that we create an event for this kind of reunion of the meetings.
Yep, that's what the doodle is for. It's the collaborative calendar.
No, but in Facebook.
An event?
Yes, in the Facebook group.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Jennifer, if you send us an email, we can pass you through the POC thing now. Shasho, I've got my finger on the button. Would you be a darling and pass the Facebook link through to the POC Facebook, please?
Will do right now.
Thank you. I haven't got enough fingers. I've also got a dog on the other hand, trying to keep it quiet. So those are the things that we really wanted to bring up with you guys more than anything. I'd have liked to been able to go through it a little bit more, but we did say we'd try and keep this to an hour. Is there anything anybody would like to really bring up very urgently that we can write down and talk about through the week in the Skype group and so on?
There was something that I mentioned earlier on, Vix, but it's not urgent. Just an idea, really, for general how we use the leads, email addresses that come in terms of distributing them to active POCs.
Was that the one about sending out a newsletter every month?
Yeah, that was kind of like part B of the idea.
I think that sounds like a really good idea, actually. This is something that was going to be sent out in the next form, but seeing as you brought it up, we can mention it now. Sheena had a very nice idea that we send out an email every month, a sort of a newsletter, some sort of a form that you could fill in, giving us an update about, for example, if you've had any new members this month, if you've had any activities this month, and so on and so forth, which could be an easier way for those who can't make the meetings because of family reasons or work reasons or study reasons or whatever. It could be for an emergency. It could help a lot as well. Please understand that these wouldn't be methods to use instead of coming to the meetings. We do still need your physical presence here, even if it's only by voice. It doesn't just keep us up to date on each other. It helps create this community feeling that is so important if we're going to work together. Okay, we need to build up this family feeling, this community feeling, whatever you want to call it, and the only way we're going to do that is if we come to these meetings regularly. So what we'd like to do as part of the restructuring offer is work together with your information that you've given us on how to make it easier for you to keep in touch with us, because we're seeing from the forms that it's not been easy.
And also,
for the moment it would have to be in English. But then the POCs will obviously have to speak English. This is something that is unavoidable. We will have to insist on POCs speaking English. Otherwise, and then they can pass the information on to their teams. But we do need the POCs to have a high level of English. Otherwise, we're going to get confusion.
Just really briefly, also, when anybody registers on thevenusproject.com, and obviously lots of people do, thought it might be useful if there was some way that if it was decided that that information, just their email address and where they were in the world, was going to be captured and sent to the relevant active POC, we could make it clear to them that might happen, and then the regional POC could get notified and they could actually contact them, because sometimes people, although they're keen, if they're contacted, and rather than the onus being on them to contact the POC, they might be more encouraged to become active. I've certainly seen that happen.
That sounds a nice idea as well. Okay. Shashu, do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Well, basically, the one thing that's that would also be about these meetings, that we would try to make it shorter. One of the ways to make it shorter is not to make it a discussion session, but rather statements and concrete projects or concrete questions, in the sense of questions that can actually be addressed or answered by the other POCs in the meeting, and not something that we would be discussing just for the sake of the argument, and in the end would just have to, I don't know, the answer would be, well, we have to ask Roxanne or we have to ask Andrew. So basically we would try to avoid things like that and try to make it more of a report and concrete task distribution, or you know, it can be done. It takes a while. It takes a bit of practice, maybe some used to, but it can be done. And I think that's how the format should be. And then when you hear something, let's say a very good idea by somebody else, you don't have to ask at that moment. You know, you can contact that person later on Skype, on Facebook, wherever, and he will give you details, so that you don't have to prolong the meeting just because you are interested in something, when you can get more information, more detailed information later on. And that's just one example, but I think that we can do that.
Yes, absolutely. We need to make the meetings more dynamic so people don't fall asleep in the middle of them. And they don't think, oh, I don't want to go to the meeting tonight. We want you to come along with energy, with goodwill to do this, to help us. So, you know, we're really looking forward to seeing what we can get together, get our heads together and sort out. So please keep in contact with us through the week. Join the Facebook group if you're not on it. Get in the, answer us on Skype, contact us on Skype, we'll get you in the POC group, and let's start seeing each other around, sharing ideas and so on and so forth, okay?
Vixie, I just wanted to say, since Michael Holtz is asking if somebody can answer his pending request for that POC group. I think, I don't know who's the admin there.
I will be there in just 5 minutes. As soon as we close down Skype, I'll be on the Facebook, and I hope to see about 100, well, it won't be 100, but I hope to see a few people there waiting to be accepted. I'll accept you all, don't worry. Everybody can come to the party.
Let me just speak for a minute about the issues in the organizations, because what I see here is the same issues that we in Portugal with our non-profit organization we overcome. The major problem will always be the inactivity of people, and you guys were talking about the POCs and the emails. I think we are addressing the problem incorrectly when we are following up the email, because the email is not the email account. It should make a lead that all POCs should be able to see it, and that would solve the problem about not answering emails in 10 days, and that would also solve the problem about people from different countries being able to feed on several POCs. And just for me to say, I think the POC issue, first of all, it shouldn't be one person per point of contact. We should be working with teams. And when we are working with teams, Portugal team will have 3 people for answering the emails, but the emails aren't the issue, because it's about the follow-up. For me, just I think we should, or probably Portugal and us, we will present some solution informatically or technological or something. Some things will work out, because I think as long as we stay with this limitation of managing simple accounts, I mean personal accounts of emails, where Portugal, cannot see if an email went to Spain and cannot even get some ideas about those answers, I think we are really, as TVP activism talking, at the bottom level of our progressive advance. So just for me to say, the issue wouldn't be for a POC to reply an email. The issue would be for a POC to have several people that could see that email, that could help integrate people and integrate the tools and have a good connection with with the other POCs and the other structures. Because of what I see and hear in meetings, and I've not been in the latest, so some things I've not been aware, the inactivity problem would be one. And mostly, as I feel and as I explained to Roxanne in previous email and to others of you, the main issue is about the connections. People don't get answers, people don't get fast replies, and I don't see the Venus Project activism, if I may call, having a database of people, organizations and all the contacts we made. Just to end, if we could get our Portuguese contact replies emails, okay, we would have for the past weeks like 5 leads or 10 leads, and those leads are in Portugal, they are treated in Portugal, but they belong to the Venus Project in the world. And so I think the problem that POC and the structure and the Philip and you guys that are working on this would be on developing the perfect tools or better tools for people to be in contact and to deal with that inactivity, that we cannot obligate people to answer the emails. So if an email gets to or a contact gets to someone that he doesn't answer, anyone in the structure of TVP should get that lead and reply to it and insert that person in the database and mark it for follow-up for him or anyone else. And I'm sorry if I take your time.
Before we take this debate too far, I think we should maybe end the official part of the meeting, and I invite you all to stay here and we can talk some more. I'll be around for a while. I think Vixie might be around too, but I think that we've kind of addressed the couple of most important things that we had that we had questions about, and we will stay in contact and try and get more information, and next time when we get together we're gonna try and address the other issues too, and one of the big ones is definitely what you were talking about right now, so we will get to that.
Yes, I agree. If anybody's needing to go, then don't worry about it. Please feel free to go, but anybody that wants to stay, you're very, very welcome to stay. I'll be staying as well. And Rolando, thank you so much for all your offers. I really look forward to getting together with you and all the guys and seeing what we can sort out together. Make this a collaborative effort.
Yeah, the problems and the issues you guys talking here, we discussed it also on the local projects and our non-profit organization Futura Agora. And so if we get the answers to solve our problems locally, why shouldn't we apply it globally? And the same would be globally to locally. So for me, as I told you guys, we have tools. We have the same problem with inactivity and responsibility and maintaining databases and people doing what they're told they would be doing. And I think I would like you guys to discuss with me, or if I can get, or we can get any effort in helping the POC structure, or what it will be of it, please tell me. I will be in meetings for that.
That's great, Rolando. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. 1,000 thank yous.
And also thanks Roxanne for being here and for taking time out to hear us and for all information that you gave us.
Well, thanks. I really appreciate what everybody's doing. I can only just keep informed with what you're working on. Invite me once in a while. Let me know how it's going, and I appreciate everything again.
Thank you for coming, Roxanne.
Thanks, Roxanne.